Why don't we start with you explaining that?
Sure. Well, let me just say, you mentioned that I served as dean of the college at Mount Holyoke for several years before moving into my role as president of Spelman. And it was actually while I was at Mount Holyoke that the ABCs were born. The first day of my deanship, I met with the staff and I talked about what I hoped we would accomplish. And I talked about the importance of affirming the identities of all of our students and building a community that everyone felt a part of. And the mission of the institution really to cultivate the leadership of this next generation of leaders. And those three things became known as the ABCs. And over time, I have found that it's really a very useful way of describing what we're trying to do regardless of our role. Because the A, affirming identity of your constituents, whoever they might be, is really critical to being effective. And I'm gonna give you an example that will quickly make this point. Imagine there's a photographer up here taking a picture of all of you, and at the end of this experience, you all get a copy of the photo. And Pam, I'm assuming you're gonna be in the picture too. So let's imagine there is a photographer taking a picture of all of us together. When you get your copy of the photo, what is the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna look for yourself. That is the only answer to that question. And
I don't think it's anything else.
You're gonna look for yourself. And if you don't find yourself in that picture, you're gonna wonder what's wrong with it. You know, you're gonna wonder, well, I was there, I remember the flash going off, I was standing right next to Lander, you know, how come I'm not in this photo? Let's imagine you've been digitally removed from it. It is certainly possible to have that experience, metaphorically and actually. And so when we think about the environments that we work in, that our students are going to school in, those environments are like a big photograph. They're looking for themselves in it. And when they see themselves, they not only want to see themselves in it, they want to see themselves looking good, as we all do. Then that's a positive experience. But a lot of our students, for a variety of reasons, don't always see themselves represented in our environments in the way they would like to be represented, or maybe not represented at all. And so thinking about how we ensure that everyone can find themselves in the picture in a positive way is really what the A is about. The B, building community, speaks to the fact that we are parts of community. Some of us are in, Spelman is a small private liberal arts college. Those kinds of environments put a lot of emphasis on community building, but certainly large institutions, public or private, also have to think about how do we build community in this context. And often what we do to build community sometimes ends up not being as effective as we would like because we forgot to do the A. I'm coming back to my photography example. Taking a group photo is a community building activity, but it only works if you're sure you're gonna be in the picture, right? If you are gathering people together and it looks like there's not enough room for everybody, some people will step away from the picture. But if you're a good photographer, you will keep working that photo, the composition of that photo, until you're sure everyone can be seen. Everyone can be seen looking reasonably good, fix your tie, straighten, take off your name tag, right? And when we think about the things we do to build community, we have to always consider the A in order for the B to be effective. I find that a lot of institutions focus on the B without giving enough thought to the A, and then they wonder why it's not happening the way they want it to happen. C is about cultivating leadership. And this is really what higher education, in my mind, is about. It's about preparing the next generation for leadership in the societies of which they are a part, whether you have international students or you're a local serving community. The opportunity in the 21st century for effective leadership requires being able to engage with people different from yourself. And that is a skill that can be acquired, but it's not a skill that most of our students come to campus already having practiced. And so we have to think about how do we, and the same thing is true for our employees, I would say. So the question we have to ask is, what opportunities are we providing for the development of that leadership capacity for our students, for our staff, for our faculty?
And it sounds like